Stand by SOT1.
Standing.
10 seconds. Ready, rollin'. Ready, SOT1.
Ready.
In 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll in.
From legendary Uncle Studios in beautiful Southern California, welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters, the central location for you employees, you employers, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. And now, here's this week's edition of Work Comp Matters.
It is August 31st, 12 noon, straight up. Welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters. And Scott, those technical issues, we're going to have to work them out one way or the other after the show. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the number one location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, please check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law. Number one computer management system, 818-357-4120 for your no strings attached money back guarantee. Also only $1 a day, A1 Law. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Appell. I'm joined by my chief of staff, the doctor, but he's not a medical doctor, Mike Zyma, as well as the madman across the water, Mr. John Scalia. Before we get to my first story, hot off the press, I want to give an announcement. We were talking about debating last week, and John was eloquently talking about how presidential debates, in fact, most governmental debates these days are not real debates. Real debates don't have a moderator. Real debates just have a judge that monitors the timeline. So over the weekend, I figured, what the F? Let's put together a debate the way they're supposed to be. So John Scalia is going to be on one side, regardless of who he's voting for. But I think we all know he is going to debate in favor of Joe Biden being the better candidate for the United States of America. On the side that President Trump is the better candidate will be David Woolberg of Troy Gould. You may remember that David was on a couple of months ago. We reran his show about a month ago. And again, I don't know who he's voting for, but I think I know. Actually, I know, but it isn't said. And this is going to be great because we've got two attorneys collectively, 70, 75 years of experience. One West Coast UCLA law grad, the other East Coast Yale law grad. And it's really going to cut through all of the BS and all of it's going to stick right on the issues, hopefully. I mean, the John and David can say whatever they want, but I suspect we're going to hear more issues in this debate than you'll probably hear the entire time when you go to the real debates. And thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for making this really a hot topic, because she came out and said Biden shouldn't debate. And of course, I fully disagree with that. But we'll get to John and Mike in the news, but hot off the press. California Labor Commissioner Lilia Garcia Brower. And by the way, before I get to the story, you all may remember that when Lilia Brower Garcia announced her lawsuit in favor of Lyft and Uber and DoorDash drivers, hundreds of thousands of them, issued a press release, about a month ago, that I gave her an invite to come on the show, rolling out the red carpet. I exchanged many telephone calls, emails, text messages, and Lilia Brower Garcia, the California Labor Commissioner, refuses to come on my show unless I give her the questions in advance. Nope, ain't gonna do it. No way, no how. But this first article, this first news, is about our California Labor Commissioner, Lilia Garcia Brower, together with the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, CCSWG, and the first partner, Jennifer Seibel Newsom, the first partner I have never heard that term before. The first partner. John, are you familiar with, I presume it's the Gav's wife being called the first partner?
No, but I assume somebody was going out of their way for gender neutrality, especially given the fact that you said it's some commission on women and girls.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Anyways, the first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, have partnered to host a series of hashtag Equal Pay California, hashtag Equal Pay California trainings on the Equal Pay Act as part of the Workplace Rights Ambassador Project, known as WRAP, W-R-A-P, to provide women and girls with tools to fight pay discrimination and file claims under California's Equal Pay Act. Now, once again, I have said on this show many times, I think our California Labor Commissioner, Lilia Garcia Brower, has done more and has been more aggressive and assertive for the state of California and the employees of California than any other labor commissioner I can remember. Even though she refuses to come on my show without being forwarded the questions in advance, does not alter my bias that she has done more for California and California employees than any other labor commissioner I am aware of. The trainings will be held in conjunction with Equal Pay Days, which recognize how much longer women, in particular women of color, must work than men to earn the same amount of money, which, by the way, my understanding is completely different than earning the same rate of pay. Because I'm not aware, at least in California, that any employer would still have the balls, would still have the chutzpah, would still have the lack of common sense to pay women at a rate less than men. Okay? Now, I realize there is a pay gap. I think it runs like about 15 to 20%. But if you modify that by the total hours that are worked by women in both the month and the year, as well as the entire career, I think you will find that when you bring in the amount of hours, it pretty much equals up. But I could be wrong. Nevertheless, the first event will be held in recognition of Black Women's Equal Pay Day today, August 31st, from 5 p.m. to 6:30. And I got to tell you, this is a wonderful thing. There is no question about it. Equal pay, equal rights, whether or not you're a man or a woman, should not matter. If you're doing the job, if you're generating the money, you deserve at least the same pay, if not more. And that being said, by the way, you know, I've been divorced for like 20 years. Any of you women that I ask out on a date or that are going out with me for business purposes, if it upsets you that I open the door for you, if it upsets that I get the reservation, and most important, if it upsets that I'm paying for you, by all means, feel free to pick up the check. Feel free to pick up the tab. I am more than happy to pay the tip if you want to pay the tab, but I got no problem at all. And if you want to ask me out to dinner, if you want to open the door for me, no problem. I mean, I am a feminist. I always have one, and I always will be. Women deserve the exact same rights as men. Any employers out there that are foolish enough, that are stupid enough, that are ignorant enough, that lack the common sense to pay women at a different rate than men, well, you get what you damn deserve. But like I said, I totally approve of this. There's no reason why in this day and age women should be making less. And except for the fact that the California Labor Commissioner, Lilia Garcia Brower, is refusing to come on my show unless I forward her the questions in advance, I totally support this. The Workplace Rights Ambassador Project is an effort to build a bridge between disenfranchised workers and the Labor Commissioner's office. The Office of the First Partner and the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls are excited to partner with California Labor Commissioner's Office to provide additional hashtag Equal Pay California WRAP trainings during equal pay day months for women of color to increase the number of opportunities are equally available in every workforce in California while promoting economic justice and full enforcement of the California labor laws. So again, last but not least, here's thanks very much to Lilia Garcia Brower, our California labor commissioner, who is putting together, and it starts out today, the California Commission on the Status of Women, Girls, and the Office of the First Partner Workplace Rights Ambassador Project. Hashtag Equal Pay California. You go, girl. And that's all I got. John, what do you think?
I'd love for her to come in and talk about it.
Well, she would demand the questions in advance, you know what I'm saying? But since she won't come on, what the heck? I mean, it's news. She's getting free advertisement for it. I mentioned it like 5 or 6 times. So
come on down.
She don't have to come on, I'm going to say it for her.
Yeah, I think in today's day and age, no employer is going to come outright and say, of course, I pay women less than men, which they used to do. And they would say it outright. I remember when that was the case. But the difference is that you can pay people different wages based on the job description. So I think because prejudice is hard to kill, a lot of times they alter the job description so that they can justify paying women less than they pay men, essentially doing the same task.
I think that's probably exactly what they're looking for, John. Please continue. Yeah.
I just think that's what's going on. I mean, I don't know how widespread it is, but as we all know, prejudice dies hard, and that's one of them.
Mike? Hello, Mike.
Did you call my name?
Yes, I did. Anything to contribute on that end? Yes, please.
Well, I'm just thinking, Robert Ozeron, back in the day, I remember he had a comment about this issue. And I don't know whether he's right about it. I think he was citing anecdotal evidence that women in the workplace, and he said it, I did it, and Robert, if I got it wrong, I apologize. But he said that women in the workplace spend more time raising their kids than men do. In other words, men do more overtime.
Well, I don't remember him saying that, but I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
In jobs where you don't get paid overtime, what do they call that, exempt? And he, at least he was adamant that this pay gap is BS, taking that into consideration.
Yeah, okay. And I think even more succinctly, Mike, it's not necessary. Let me just say this. It's documented. Women take more time off of work to care for the family than men do. Hence the start of my rant, where I said that when it comes to pay rate, anybody that's not paying the same pay rate is stupid or trying to, as John said, pull a fast one on us. But it appears clearly documented that women do not spend as much time at work as men do. And the primary reason is to care for the home and the family.
I think that's correct. Go ahead, John.
I'd like to see the studies that document that. In America, in the workplace, I find it hard to believe that women are particularly spending any more time with the kids when they have a similar job. I mean, when I last worked with Bradford and Barthel, we had a female supervising attorney, and she certainly spent and she had kids, and she certainly spent as many hours in the office and more. There's more than I did, for sure.
So, John, you think that men and women take off work for pregnancy the exact same time, no difference?
Well, now men take off for pregnancy. Back when I was having my kids, I was lucky to rush to the hospital and see them being born. But no, I mean, of course they take more time for.
Okay. So women take more time off of work due to pregnancy than men do. We agree on that one. Now, of course, the question is, after the pregnancy, do women take more time off to raise the family than men do?
I don't think so. I think you need to prove that. I'm not sure that's true. Now, Tamina's kids were not babies, but they weren't adults. They were still young. And she certainly spent as much time. She was a supervising attorney, which meant she was in charge of the whole corral. And she certainly spent as much time. I mean, you know her, right, Mike?
Yeah, she did spend a lot of time at work, and you got to hand it to her. She burnt the candle at both ends, or 3 ends, 4 ends. Yep.
I'll tell you this, John. Then we're going to go to break. I understand that there are exceptions to every rule. I also understand that every study that I've seen or heard of says that women take more time off of work to help care for the family. But I don't recall ever once, except with exceptions, I'm talking about as a general rule, as a class, where men take more time off work than women do, or that the time is equal when it comes to caring for the family. But yeah, the exceptions to the rule. If you take a look at your CEOs of big companies, or if you take a look at major financial people that are making tens of millions of dollars, when they're women, they're working 80, 100 hours a week, okay? But I'm talking about the average, I want to say Joe Schmo, Mrs. Joe Schmo, and then I'm probably going to get letters or whatever. But the average woman in the workplace, all the studies show, take more time off of work than the average men because they're caring for their family. And we can talk more about that after the break if you want. My name is Steve Appell. You're dialed into Work Comp Matters. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the #1 location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, #1 computer management system, 818-357-4120. For your no strings attached money back guarantee, $1 a day. A1 Law. We're talking about the California Labor Commissioner, Billy Garcia Brower, who is arranging trainings for women and girls, and the Office of the First Partner launched Workplace Rights Ambassador Project, #Equal Pay California trainings. I totally support this. The only thing I am upset about, she's not going to come on to my show unless I give her the questions in advance. And now, without further ado, here's John and Mike with the Work Comp Matters Zoom News. Take it away, guys.
Bay Area wildfires. Crews continue to gain ground, but smoke not going away anytime soon. Nearly 16,000 firefighters continued working to contain lightning-sparked blazes across California on Sunday, continuing to gain the upper hand in a second week of pitched battle against the fiery rampage. For residents in much of the Bay Area, though, the blanket of smoke that has laid over the region in the past 2 weeks is likely to linger, the National Weather Service said. Winds will slow and warm. Dry conditions will be the norm this week. Since the lightning siege started on August 15, CAL FIRE estimate that approximately 1.42 million acres were burned. Mike.
Got to tell you, I drove to Lake Hughes on Saturday trying to get an idea of the devastation, and I only got little bits of it. So that wasn't profitable for my time. But anyway, the gas, new color-coded reopening system for California counties, which he unveiled Friday, begins today. Under the new ranking system, counties fall into 4 color-coded categories: purple, red, orange, and yellow, depending on the number of COVID-19 cases for 100,000 residents and the percentage of tests that come back positive, according to the GAP. For example, in purple-tiered counties where COVID is deemed most widespread, restaurants will only be allowed to operate outside. Restaurants in red-tier counties can operate at 25% capacity indoors. John.
Why won't counties report workplace COVID outbreaks to the public? Coronavirus has exploded in essential workplaces across California, but many counties won't report workplace outbreaks to the public, raising questions about who exactly ends up protected. Napa County doesn't collect data about coronavirus outbreaks in workplaces. Sonoma County does, but won't identify them because it would compromise the county's working relationship with employers. Alameda County won't share outbreak locations to protect privacy and to guard against what one health official called undue stigma. My question is, what is going on? Mike.
It may not seem like it, but this year's election is just around the corner. County elections divisions around the state are preparing for November 3rd, when residents will not only cast their votes for a slew of local politicians, but also the President of the United States. This year, however, the process promises to be unlike anything in the country's history. The coronavirus pandemic has changed social norms and upended expectations about how voters can expect to participate in November's election. Several states have already experienced issues with primary elections that have been changed because of COVID-19, with long lines and delays happening in places such as Wisconsin and Kentucky. To help answer some of the questions that local voters may have about the election, Kern County Auditor Controller Mary Bedard, who oversees the Elections Division, sent out news releases answering some of the most frequent inquiries her office receives. And folks, I'm just thinking that we've heard that Staples Center is going to be open as a polling site, part of the deal that the NBA players and management, yada, yada, had worked out. Watch for the Republicans alleging voter fraud here. John.
Being black and living in Fresno takes a mental and physical toll for people of color trying to make it in a city that has privileged its white residents. People interviewed for the Fresno Voices Project say the weight from constantly facing dismissive, demeaning, or otherwise hostile environments or people in historically white spaces has been called racial battle fatigue, a term coined in 2008 by critical race theorist William Smith. Being a black man and having a black family is scary. It's freaking scary, said the Reverend D.J. Kreiner, a pastor at St. Rest Baptist Church, because you are told from birth almost rules on how to survive and how to live. It's a reality for many black families who have to have conversations about race that white families may not ever think about. Conversations about how shopkeepers or police may treat black people, for example. Kreiner said trying to play by the rules of society is never enough. Mike.
You know what? Thank you guys for the news. And I wanted to say that my father had one or two discussions with me as I was getting to be of driver's age. And this was in the middle 70s. And he was very clear to me. And that is that if I get stopped by an officer of the law, slow down, pull over, roll down the windows, turn the engine off, and put both my hands on the steering wheel. And then when the officer asks me for my license and registration, don't move fast, move slow, and advise the officer, okay, I'm going to put my hands in my pocket to get my license. I'm going to open my glove compartment. John, when you were getting your license, did your dad or mom or anybody advise you how to act or what not to do when you're stopped by an officer of the law driving a car?
No. And I was raised by a single mom, actually, and I got my license a little later than most people. But the difference is, yes, that's all very good. That's all good advice, even if you're a white guy. But the difference is in how the officer approaches you, not just how you approach the officer. And that's
I'm not disagreeing with that. I am not disagreeing with that at all. Mike, when you became of legal driving age, did your mom or dad or anybody advise you on how to act or what not to do if you were driving a car and was stopped by an officer of the law?
They did not. But I remember John saying a few months ago that he told his kids that if you ever need a cop, go to the donut store.
I'm sorry, go to the where?
Donut store.
The donut shop? Oh, okay. I remember one time And you guys may remember this, but back in the late 70s, when we had cruising night on Van Nuys Boulevard, and this was every Wednesday that went on through my entire period of high school, even maybe a little bit into college, that Wednesday nights after dark, that cars would drive up and down Van Nuys Boulevard between like Burbank and Van Olin or whatever like that. And, we would basically show off our stuff, try and pick up women, stop at the fast food, whatever. And it was a good opportunity to meet people. And it's like Van Nuys Boulevard at like 9, 10 o'clock at night is 5 miles an hour. So my car got stopped. I don't remember what. And I had a buddy of mine who was in the car. And as soon as we pulled over, before I had a chance to do anything, he immediately gets out of the passenger door, turns around, and put both hands in his pockets. And I said, "What the heck are you doing?" I couldn't believe it. It's like you're trying to get us killed or something like that.
That's a good way to get shot.
Yeah, especially in this day and age, okay? Now, yes, I will admit, I am white. I was raised in a upper middle class society. I have no personal idea what it is to be black driving in a white neighborhood or being black driving in a black neighborhood. I do not doubt for a second that officers treat drivers of cars and passengers in cars different because of their skin color and location. Yes, I can only imagine how tough it has been for some people. Don't doubt that.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Well, my parents never told me anything about cops, okay? But I told my kids that whether you need them or want to avoid them, know where they are. To this day, I can pretty much tell where cops are. Now, I have had weapons pulled on me by the cops. My favorite story, real quick, the 1971 earthquake. Me and my friend, we were in Santa Clarita, Newhall, and me and my friend went out with a movie camera to take movies of the post-earthquake stuff. And we got stopped by the cops because they thought we were looters. And they had rifles drawn on us. And folks, if you've never had the cops pull weapons on you, you ain't seen Jesus yet, though. That's all I got to say.
We've got about 1 minute left. John, closing thoughts or burning desires?
No, I think it's a very interesting discussion. I think it's very fair-minded and open. It was enjoyable.
I have never had a police officer, law enforcement, draw a weapon on me. The only weapons I've had drawn on me were by fellow students when I was in high school. I had a knife to my throat. I never had a gun pointed at me. I did have a knife to my throat. And, it's just horrible. Once again, want to give much thanks and kudos to California Labor Commissioner Lilia Garcia Brower for putting together this commission on the status of women and girls with the first partner. I wonder if we should call her Ms. Gav or not. I don't know. Jennifer Seibold Newsom. And unfortunately, she won't come on the show to talk about it unless we forward her the questions in advance. But, it is what it is. What can I tell you? Madman across the water, John Scalia for Mike Zyma, Chief of Staff, keeping me in check and out of trouble at least 90% of the time. For Scott Walton of Legendary Uncles Studios, also for the WorkCompCentral and the A1 Law. And don't forget, this Friday, 12 to 1, is the Biden-Trump debate with John Scalia and David Woolberg. My name is Steve Appell. We'll see you again tomorrow at noon for another edition of Work Comp Matters.